key player among the process of leading China into WTO's family. If you are in a group now, if you are in charge of the talk now, what do you do? Would you do differently on this tariff talk?
Well, I would do many things differently.
Oh, really?
From the current U.S. administration. I don't think I would have started with tariffs. I probably would have started with discussion and negotiation rather than take a coercive course. China, of course, responded in kind, and which I understand. On the other hand, again, starting with discussion and negotiation is always a better route. I think that there's a need to de-risk. Both sides need to de-risk in the sense that each side has its own security to consider. But de-risking does not mean decoupling. And I think to decouple the economies is, first of all, highly unrealistic, and second of all, potentially destructive of global growth, which would be counterproductive. So I think de-risking is appropriate and understandable. Decoupling is not.
What's your take on decoupling?
We can't go any farther because American consumers do want to have low prices. They want to get as many products as they can from around the world. A lot of that's China. And I think that that's understood by American consumers and pretty soon by the American president. You may have noticed a few days ago, President Trump relaxed tariffs on food from various countries. He's worried about inflation, food inflation in the United States. So the consumers really are important in the U.S., and partly because our system of government. We have midterm elections this next November. People all vote, and they vote according to their pocketbook mostly. Hey, is this guy helping me or not helping me? Then we have presidential elections after that. So consumers are very important in the U.S.
Dr. Henry Kissinger said to my grandfather and made it public that China and the U.S. operate best when their interests are aligned. So I think that what my grandfather would look at, how best can China and the United States focus on an alliance of interests, focus there to find commonality. But, my grandfather was also very clear that when there are differences with China, he'd be honest about it. And I think that honest approach is also something that's needed as well in the relationship, and you balance both of those. It's through that focusing on mutual interests and then working out differences that I think he could make a very big difference today in terms of making the relationship between China and the United States even better. China has become a very strong and powerful country. The United States maintains its power. Of course, there are going to be areas where we agree and disagree. Let's just call it this. The relationship is complex and it's complicated. There are great opportunities that exist. There are great threats that exist. There are great things that can be done for the world if China and the United States work together.
Right now, we should find health cooperation to be both important and feasible. So I would say that. Student exchange. There are only, we'll say, about a series of students from the United States to China is maybe 1,000 at the most. China has 200 and some thousand in the U.S. So I think enhancing health cooperation and serious student exchange where our students just not 2 weeks, Zoma Kanhua kind of thing, but actually live in China for a year or two, get out in the countryside. This is what we need to get a knowledge base that makes cooperative relations possible. So I'd say student exchange and healthcare are two important areas.
If you look at the strategic position of India in Asia, it faces north and south, east and west. It's an omnidirectional country. So that's how I see India's position in the world. And India can be a bridge between China and the United States in many ways, because China has been our time-tested neighbor of India's for millennia. The history of our relationship stretches back into, I can't even begin to describe it, but it's such a rich and textured relationship. And I feel that the recent difficulties in our relations, China and India. We have had some conflict, we have territorial differences, but I think the underlying metabolism, if I may call it, of the relationship is one that should be life affirming.
香港是中西方文化的一个交汇的地方，那么我觉得也是在中美人民之间交流的一个非常好的节点。在这个地方呢，可以听到不同的声音，可以邀请各界的人来共同讨论，中美关系这个对于全世界来说最重要的双边关系，可能也是最具有挑战的、最复杂的双边关系。所以我觉得香港是个很好的地方，让大家来各抒己见。